If you haven't heard already, the TOEFL exam is going to look a lot different starting January of 2026. The test will be shorter, adaptive, and packed with new task types. In this video, we'll go section by section, reading, listening, speaking, and writing, so you'll know exactly what's different and how to prepare. Plus, I'll share how you can start preparing right now so you're not caught off guard. And if you're new here, welcome. This is Ace Your TOEFL with Study.com. I'm Chris, and we're proud to be the official TOEFL test prep partner. That means we work directly with the makers of the exam to give you the most accurate prep strategies and practice. Let's dive in. Let's start with reading. In the old format, you had 2 long academic passages, about 700 words each, with 10 questions per passage. Honestly, a lot of students found that draining. In 2026, reading gets more variety and feels much closer to how we actually read in real life. You'll see 3 types of tasks. First, complete the words. These tasks will feature a short passage with missing letters. You fill them in to complete the spelling. It's quick, but it checks your spelling and vocabulary. Second, read in daily life. These tasks will feature everyday tasks like emails, announcements, or short articles. You'll answer questions that test detail finding and inference. Finally, read an academic passage. These tasks are the most similar to the old test format. You'll still get one university-style passage, but it's shorter than before. Here you can expect questions on the main idea, vocabulary, and inferences. For students taking the TOEFL in 2026 and beyond, this means you can look forward to a reading section that is shorter, less intimidating, and more practical. I strongly recommend that you practice skimming. Focus on the first and last sentences and get used to spotting key details and words quickly. That skill will help across all 3 reading tasks. Next up, the listening section. Before you only had lectures and conversations. In the new TOEFL, you'll get 4 diverse task types first. Listen and choose a response. Here you will hear one short sentence and then be asked to choose the most natural response. This could be as simple as a question like, "How are you?" or "Do you know what the weather is supposed to be like today?" Second, listen to a conversation. These tasks will have you listening to short, everyday exchanges and will often make use of idioms or more colloquial language. You'll then be asked questions that ask you pick up on the tone and details. For example, you might be expected to understand that one student saying, "hit the books," to another is not a sign of violence, but a signal that they plan to study hard. All right, third, listen to an announcement. Here you will hear something like an airport or campus announcement. Announcements are intended to communicate practical information, and questions here will ask you inference-style questions that test your ability to identify and pull out that information. Finally, listen to an academic talk. This task carries over from the old test, though will be shorter and focus on more modern topics. Here you'll be asked questions about structure, main ideas, and any arguments presented. To prepare for these test changes, make sure to practice listening to both everyday and more academic English. Also, make sure to take notes. Some students think this is cheating or just don't think to do this, but taking notes during the listening section is absolutely critical to retaining information, especially from some of the lengthier audio passages. Now let's talk about the speaking section. And I have more good news for you here. The old TOEFL speaking section had several tasks and for many students was the most stressful and challenging portion of the exam. It was long, overly formal, and it just felt overwhelming. In the updated 2026 TOEFL, it's just 2 tasks. First is listen and repeat. You'll hear 7 short sentences with a visual cue, like a map or picture. You'll then be asked to repeat them back as closely as possible. You'll be scored on pronunciation, rhythm, and accuracy. Think of it as the TOEFL version of Simon Says. And then second is take an interview. Here, you can expect 3 or 4 interview-style questions on everyday topics. And a big change here is that you don't get prep time. Just a question and then 45 seconds to respond naturally. As part of these changes, the focus here has also shifted to being able to deliver natural sounding and personalized responses as opposed to memorized answers. This is an important call out, as many test prep resources recommend memorizing polished scripts like the topic presented is very interesting and I strongly believe that. The idea was to plug in different examples and sound structured. In 2026, this approach fails. Instead, you should focus on being comfortable with flexible phrases that you can adapt. Short inserts like, "Here's my perspective," or "One example is," will serve you much better. All right, the last section, writing. The old TOEFL was all about long essays. In 2026, it's shorter and more practical. In fact, the whole section is just 12 minutes long, which sounds a whole lot better to me than a 30-minute essay. The updated writing section is made up of 3 tasks. First, build a sentence. This task will present you with a series of words in random order. Your job is to rearrange them to form them into a correct sentence. And you can expect the final sentence to be something from a casual conversation. No overly formal or academic wording here. Second, write an email. This task will ask you to respond to a real-life situation that you might encounter. You'll get a situation, like someone asking to reschedule a meeting or someone asking for your opinion on something, and then you'll be asked to write an email responding appropriately. Third, write for an academic discussion. This task will provide you with a brief expert from a sample classroom forum, and then you'll be asked to write a response. The prompts will vary, but you can generally expect to be asked to share an opinion, support a position, or introduce a new idea. As you can probably tell, this section has been overhauled to be all about shorter and more practical writing skills. This is a welcome change in my opinion, as it feels more natural and aligns closer to the kind of writing all of us already do on a daily basis. And no long essays. Hooray! All right, let's do a quick recap of the 2026 changes. For the reading section, you can expect shorter passages that pull from a wider variety of real-life sources like text messages. For the listening section, you can expect a mix of academic and everyday English, and also a wider variety of formats, including both single speakers and two-person conversations. For the speaking section, you just have to prepare for 2 task types now: listen and repeat, and an informal interview. And for the writing section, you can say goodbye to long essays and instead should prepare for shorter and more practical applications like emails and discussion forums. The good news is that all of these changes mean a shorter and more test-taker-friendly exam that should feel a lot closer to how you already use your English language skills. If you're taking the TOEFL test after January 2026, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos for sample practice question walkthroughs, as well as more in-depth test analysis and strategy. We are here to help you get the score you want. And if you want even more robust study material, including full-length practice tests and personalized feedback on the speaking and writing sections, make your way over to study.com, where you can sign up for our fully updated 2026 TOEFL test prep course. As the only official test prep partner of the TOEFL exam, we guarantee you the most accurate prep strategies and practice. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.